for Charlotte. So don't be complaining, talking about there's nothing local. I wish we had this. I wish we had that. It's here.
Listen, the crowd is normally like 500 to 600 people.
Wow.
Normally. And that was last year and the years before that without a social media presence. So now we're having a social media presence. We're going to do some radio as well. So it's going to be some tickets sold this time. So
Tell them one more time where to come, what day.
well, I would say just go straight to the website. You'll find all the information. You can even ask questions.
What's the website again?
mytimemusicxs.com.
All right, you heard it, guys. Go on that website, check it out. Get out there, show your skills off. Show what Charlotte's got.
Yeah.
Let's see what this CD's got. Let's see it.
It's a lot of hidden talent, and I know it's out there. Trust me, there's a lot of them that come in my studio, and I'm like, where have you
That's what I was
been?
going to ask you. Like,
Yeah.
you meet a lot of local artists here in Charlotte. Like,
Uh-huh.
what is the main struggle that they say they have, being an artist in Charlotte compared to being an artist in Atlanta or an artist in New York?
Outlets. You know, of course,
Yeah.
you got Atlanta. They have their open mic. Their open mics and their little talent showcases a little more broad or more often than we have it. You know, Charlotte, you kind of have to wait till something happens. The wait is over. My time to shine.
There you
Boom!
go. You got it. It's a boom moment. You got it. There you go, guys. It's local right here. Like Larry said, we don't hear that, oh, nothing's going on in Charlotte. It's right here. We're providing it to you.
You got people like Jay Stylez, man. He's making it happen for the city. So if you got talent and you want to showcase it, now's the time. Don't wait. You miss your opportunity in life. You might not get another one. You got to jump at them opportunities.
Right. That's right.
Absolutely.
So are you going on tour anytime soon, or?
We're just doing spot dates right now. Like I said, I fly out on the 20th. God willing, God willing, we fly out on the 20th. The show's on the 21st. Was scheduled on the 21st and open.
Okay. All right. Cool.
Yeah.
And Ray, so now that you been able to get a chance to exhale to Musa from the campaign.
Druddy.
Yeah. What is next for you? Or have you made that decision?
Yeah, I mean, next for me is definitely to continue to serve our congregation, to serve, within Livian and doing the work. I've got 3 kids at home and my wife, so that's I'm sure they are happy to see more. I'm really looking forward to. I'm on the board for Lead NC, and I love our what we do is helping candidates get trained, and I'm looking forward to maybe expanding to do more like that. I didn't run for re-election to the DNC, so that's all.
I hate that. I really would.
I don't.
You don't hate.
I don't hate it.
You've done a lot of great work. I mean, your man is still pushing and.
You're talking about Bernie Sanders.
Yeah, he helped change.
Well, let me ask you, why do you say you hate it? You don't hate it.
I don't hate that. I don't hate it because it's just a lot of work. Yeah, it was a lot of time. I mean, you got to.
So do you regret it?
I don't regret it at all. I mean, I don't regret doing it. My term ends. My term's not over yet. My term ends at the
end of the convention.
At the end of the convention, but I mean, there are 5 of us represented. I mean, 5 of us elected to represent North Carolina at the DNC, and that's just and people like complaining.
Sure,
especially Democrats, man. They love complaining. They blame you for everything.
You can do 1,000 things right and one thing wrong. People will not remember the 1,000 things you did. They will remember the one wrong thing you did.
Well, we're the same way with ourselves.
Yeah. What did Kenny say? What success has? Was it?
Oh yeah. Success has a million fathers and failures an orphan.
Yeah. We talked. You was talking about the quote you said earlier about a lot is expected of those.
Right.
And I said heavy is the head, the worst the crown. I tell people this all the time. Be very careful to other people I know that have rose up a little bit. Always, like, I see people start to make a little sidestep or something. I'm that person, like we talked about earlier. You don't need yes men. Sometimes you need a real man. Sometimes I rub people the wrong way by some of the stuff I say, but I always try to keep it real with people. And sometimes I know it might hurt their feelings, but I'm not trying to be your best buddy. I'm trying to save you from maybe taking a sidestep. And I want the same thing back. You see me making a left-hand turn? Ooh, Larry, chill. You about to go. So, yeah, because I might make a left-hand turn real quick. So, when you're at a higher level, like you're at, it could be even something as simple as me having the following I have on social media. One wrong post or one wrong thing.
Right.
People really, really like to see a success story.
Yeah.
No. People really like to see a success story. They really, really like it. But they absolutely love to see you fall.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
So now I always remind people that be careful, because just as quick as people liked you and had your back as you was rising, they cannot wait for you to fall. You had 10,000 liking you on the way up, you'll have 20,000 hating you on the way down.
And I like what Post Malone said. Now I used to have friends, now I got enemies.
Right.
Yeah, that song is like really the truth. Yeah.
It's so true.
Yeah.
So I try to remind people like, hey, check it. It's real, man. It's real.
That's one thing I think. My dad has all these sayings too. But my dad always says, he said, my two favorite sayings of my dad is start how you intend to finish. And don't forget where you came from because you might have to go back.
Woo! What? There's so many people that,
two
man.
favorite sayings, but also it's
That's scary because some people are afraid to go back.
Exactly.
Yeah. Because they done burned so many dang bridges.
Yeah.
Man.
because they owe people money. But one thing that I've learned, especially in politics, how important it is, or whatever the game is, to have friends who are totally disconnected from that, don't care about it, who knew you, like people who had your back, who've known you forever. Because, politics is also a fair weather fan game too. I mean, people love you when you're winning.
Yeah.
But otherwise,
Because that right there is everywhere.
Yeah.
Everywhere. You can go back to the Jesus story.
Yeah.
Whether you believe him in him or not. There were some people who followed him, was like, yo, I rock out with you.
Boy.
And soon as no.
I don't know him.
Yeah.
The most zealous ones.
Yeah.
That's real. But but your friends. Like they will have your back forever. Like I took some time away. I went to Catawba County after I beat and met up with a friend who was just a friend. He's been my boy for a minute, and we just hung out. Didn't really talk about the race. It was just sometimes you need to be around those people who are unimpressed by you, who don't care about your titles, who don't care about anything. Because they know you know you.
Yeah.
And you know you can't fool them. They know you can't fool them. They be like, you're like, all right, Big Tops. That's what my people say.
Yeah.
All right, Big Tops. That's my name from growing up. My family, Big, what's up, Tops? So I'm like,
You're right.
Call me that, bro.
Even my dad, you met my dad before. My father always, since this day, just keep warning me. He's always says that everybody who smiles at you is not for you, and people will envy you and don't tell people your personal business. I mean, my dad's like really hardcore on that, and so it's true. I mean, unfortunately,
Most people are going to come at you with bad intentions with a smile on their face.
Yeah.
That's what I was talking about earlier, and this wasn't to shoot a shot at religion, because anyone that knows me, like really knows me, knows, okay, there he is religious, he just doesn't wear it on his sleeve. The salesman that comes at you selling religion to you, but trying to get in your pocket to get something from you, or trying to, trick you or manipulate you or sell you or fool you, hiding behind the Bible and the Lord's name, but really got bad intentions. It's everywhere, and it's sad because if you take your phone and Google right now, what's the number one moneymaker in the world? It's religion. So it's no wonder they're doing it. It's the number one moneymaker in the world. If I roll up on you, and even though you look through my history, you look through all my business ventures, you could go on my website and say, okay, well, he succeeded at the TV show he did, the radio show he did, he's been speaking for all these people, he wrote a book, he did this. And you're like, okay, well, he did. But if I come to you and you see tattoos, you see muscle stuff, you're already going to judge me. And I'm a little rough around the edges. But if I come to you, I'm real slick speaking, I got a suit on, got a smile on my face, God bless you, brother, and I'm talking to you, you're automatically disarmed. You're automatically disarmed.
But that goes back to tell you, you was talking about the politician with the hair to the side, the red tie. Absolutely. See, presentation is everything.
No, it is.
But presentation is everything. That's why you get that and show them, and then all of a sudden you got their attention. Presentation is everything.
Yeah, absolutely.
I get it.
So there's a reason they got a red tie on. That's what the poll said that the people like. 65% of the people polled said they like the red tie the best. That's why you got the red tie on.
And they say that red tie symbolizes power.
There you go.
I've heard that
That's
before.
a Superman tie, right?
Superman tie.
Come on, you got Batman over here.
So what does the blue tie stand for?
Don't wear it.
Because I actually, at one time I thought that was the Democratic.
Well, that's their color.
That's the color.
And then I thought red.
Right. Yeah, it's the color. Like you probably see me on Flashpoint. Sometimes I would have on a blue tie and then we'll probably have a red tie. It's just
So
yeah.
Did Obama wear a red tie at all?
He probably did. I mean,
It's weird because to the naked eye you don't know, but there's meanings behind all of that stuff they do. Where the buttons at, what color the tie is, what color shoes are without. I mean, the way they stand, the hand symbol, there's deeper meanings to different things, and that type of stuff.
Yeah.
Doug's been in the game long enough. You was a fixer behind the scenes. You know the tricks of the trade.
Was.
Yeah.
No, you're saying was as in past tense?
Well, okay. What? So he was more on the private side. Now he's on the open market side.
Yeah. And I was in the party for a long time. Ray and I would talk a lot about things in the party. But yeah, I mean,
Doug hate getting calls from me when he was in that position.
Oh my God, it was yeah. But I mean, I still, and I say this every time, I still believe in the positives that politics can bring if it's used the right way. Because to me, and I said this last week, politics to me is an arena when ordinary people given a chance can do extraordinary things. So somebody like a Ray or a Chaz Beasley or Terry Brown Jr. or a Judge Aretha Blake, these are folks that really are just ordinary people trying to make a difference through the venue of politics. I think people have a bad perception of politics because unfortunately what they see on TV, like shows like Scandal or shows like I can go on and on about or how or like I'm like
it's crazy because some of it is true.
Yeah, so like or like House of Cards, like a lot of that stuff. It's some of it true, but some of it is not true. And then of course, what they see in Washington, things like getting done and all that, and that's unfortunate because politics was intended for the people to be elected by the people to help make the government better. And it's just and that's I think that's where Ray and I get frustrated, where there are good people like Ray that want to make a difference, but they can't because either they don't have name recognition or they're not from wealth, whatever.
Well, that also goes back to what Ray said earlier and what Terry Brown said here before, and what Judge Blake said before, is that the wheel has spun so far out of control and controls itself at the highest levels, and that's where the most corruption and the BS starts, but that's what everyone focuses on.
Yeah.
And we live in the age of technology where we can pull it up and see factual stuff of all the crookedness that's going on. But on the local level, like they've been talking about, is where a difference is made. Does it matter who the president is? I mean, I guess it does. But is he coming to Charlotte to fix the roads in Charlotte? No. It's the local officials, the people that get elected here, they're going to decide whether they're going to fix South Tryon, where at nighttime you can't even see where the lines in the middle of the road, so you don't know which lane you're driving in.
Yeah.
And I've got 15-20 vision, and I can't tell what lane I'm driving in because the middle line is gone.
You called me that.
I called you one night raising hell. I was like, I can't even see what lane I'm in.
Go from Atlanta, go from New York or whatever, and come down here and drive at night. Period. Where's the lights at some of these places?
Yeah.
Why is it so pitch dark? Now I will challenge you two, since you guys are more connected into politics, to express to these young people that it really counts in your own town politicians.
It does.
Because I'm telling you, I just found that out like a year ago or 2 years ago. So I know if I'm just finding out, I know half of my circle don't know or just found out as well.
Yeah.
I mean, and I gotta plug this since we're talking about this.
Yeah.
We are in an election year, 2020, and we're about to, every 10 years, we have to do this thing called a census. And that's coming up. Metcounts.com. So our census, so everybody needs to make sure they participate in the census.
That's right.
Because if you want to talk about, I mean, it will determine how many breakfasts we get, how much money we get for our streets, how much money we get for our schools. It will determine every single thing.
So how does that determine?
So because of the Constitution, every 10 years we have to take a census, And everything is divided up, apportioned by population, right? And the way you get the population is by literally counting. And people, they don't necessarily go anymore. Everybody canvass door to door. But if you go to meccounts.org, I think that is MECKCOUNTS.org, every single person, every one of us in this room needs to, I think it might even be live today, like the census. Go on there, make sure you count every single person in your household, because that's going to be how we get federal funds that are then filtered down to the local level.
That's right.
It's going to be how we determine how many representatives we get in Congress. We very likely will get another district out of this coming census because of how quickly we're growing. And it could very well be in Mecklenburg County. Right now we have, and so
not a lot of us. Not a lot of us,
that's right.
Especially us.
No, I know what you mean.
Don't know.
Yeah.
I'm telling you.
That's why I'm telling us. We got to.
Yeah,
we have to know.
Yeah.
Because they still think they will count. It's funny. It's only when we're talking about money and stuff like that where folks want to count people who are caged in jails, right? They're counted for that. But they're not counted for. They're counted for the. But they don't. They don't get to vote. They're not counted for other reasons. So this is also why it's important for us to know and then tell our communities what's happening, because we are going to be the ones most impacted always. Right? It's always what's happening.
That's
but
right.
we're also the ones who also need to make sure we are participating. So metcounts.org. If I didn't say that, I will get in trouble. I'm on the local committee.
Yeah. No, but it's important because I don't think, like you said, people don't realize how important the census is. The census is not a hoax. It's not somebody coming to try to take stuff from you. It is important. It will determine how much money we get from the federal level, like Ray said, how many representatives we can get in Congress. I mean, this is as important as voting. So please, 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 if you get something, you should get something in the mail, right? Because I heard today that the canvassing part may be limited due to the coronavirus, but you should be getting something in the mail.
You can also go online.
You can also go online and fill it out as well. This has been going on for over 200 plus years now.
No, it's literally it's something that hasn't happened.
Yeah.
It's from the beginning, from the inception of this nation.
Yeah,
it's in the Constitution. It must happen.
It must happen. So
yeah,
definitely.
So, all right, we've had some good conversations
Geeked
tonight.
out a little bit. Sorry.
No, we've had some good conversations tonight. We've touched on a lot of different subjects. We even heard the new song "Henny Conversation." We got a bottle of Henny up here on the table, looking good. But we gonna that's that gold. That's that real deal right there.
What is this?
What is that?
So,
well, it was full. This was at the video shoot. The video.
That's that real flakes of gold, man.
Right?
The video will be released next month. So stay tuned for. We'll actually have a video release party in Charlotte.
Okay.
So stay tuned for the invites and the posting and all of that.
Man, y'all better check out that new video.
Yeah, check it out.
So what I want to do is I want to switch up the whole show for a minute real quick. And we're going to touch based on something that's not talked about a lot. And we're going to completely different field. But it's something that both of you guys touched on. You touched on a little while ago about writing songs, not about taking another man's woman, or not about cheating, or not about, selling dope or doing this, whatever. But, still having your style, still being fly, still being able to get a message out there, still carrying yourself, as a man and getting respect, but still being able to be cool and relate to people and putting positive message out there. You talked about putting messages and sermons together, but still being relatable and getting people to, want to enjoy it and be a part of it. So you're a father, you adopted 4 kids, and you're a father of how?
One and one on the way.
One and one on the way.
There you go. Right.
All right, so check this out, man. I want to give a shout out to all the real fathers out there.
Mm-hmm.
When you have a kid, just because you have a kid, that does not make you a father. You have to earn the right to be called father.
Absolutely.
Anyone can have intercourse and be a so-called dad that gave birth, that participated in a birth of a child. But it takes a real man to be a father, so a special shout out to all the real fathers out there. So I salute both of you gentlemen, and I want people out there to know, like, to be a real man, to take care of your kids, to step up to the plate, to be a father, to be someone that's not cheating or not running around and not doing the stuff you're talking about that you wrote in your song, to carry yourself in a certain way, to have morals, to have respect, to have value, there's nothing wrong with that. And
Right.
it's, you know, it's funny because here we go. Here's this double-edged sword. Now check out how society works. Society wants to tell you to be cool, you got to have side chicks. You got to have this bling. You got to carry yourself this way. You got to be this tough person. You got to be all this stuff, right?
Until it happens to them.
That's right.
Or
Yeah.
until they find out, oh, so you know, so and so cheated on this woman, or so and so got caught with this, so and so. Then you're demonized by everybody.
Right.
But you ain't. First of all, you ain't cool if you don't do it, and then
Right.
you get hemmed up in it. Then you demonize.
Right.
So here's the advice I have to everyone out there, especially the men listening. How about this? How about be real to yourself? How about do what a man is supposed to do? Be a man, carry yourself like a man. Don't worry about the trends. Don't worry about what other people are doing.
Mm-hmm.
If you are man enough to have a child, step up to the plate and be a father. Once again, salute to all the real fathers out there. There's nothing wrong with being a good father.
Mm-hmm.
Matter of fact,
Even if that baby mom, you don't get along with that baby mom.
absolutely.
That's
That-
right. Yeah.
Just because
Yeah.
parents doesn't get along doesn't mean you can't be a good parent.
Because one day that child,
He's
that
gonna grow
little son, right, and he's gonna be either a pistol holder
hmm
or a pastor
Yeah.
or whatever, somebody big.
And you can't, and parents, I don't think they understand this. When they hold grudges, when they talk about the other parent, when they keep them away, when they use them as a tool, when they do the conquer and divide, you're damaging your kid. You're setting them up for psychological failure because you're damaging them from the inside out. You're sending them off into the world as a damaged individual. Anyone out there that has a mother that really wants to be in a life and a father's keeping it away, shame on you, and vice versa.
Right.
You should never keep a parent away from a child, especially if that parent is willing to step up to the plate and be a good
It
parent.
has
That's
nothing
right,
to do with
absolutely.
what y'all going through at
Yeah.
all. At
Yeah.
all.
It's,
At all.
it's not about personal feelings, because at the end of the day, if you're a parent, you should be able to put your kids' feelings first in situations like that. So think about that next time you want to put your feelings first. And
And I think one thing I'll say as a person who is who's adopted, sometimes the hardest thing for a parent is to recognize at this moment in time, this might not be the best. So if the mom and the dad, they've come to the point where they say, we need to. Our kids were adopted from the foster care system here in Mecklenburg County, with one exception. Quentin was. He was watching, so I wanted to make sure I said that so he'd come for me. But it is. I think sometimes being an adult, it also says, as much as I want this, I can't. And because that's happened on a couple
Okay, I know
occasions
what
when
you're
parents are saying, because sometimes biological parents, maybe it hurts everything in them to say, right now I can't do this. I can't be what this kid needs, and those parents make the decision to place a kid for adoption. I want those people to know that that's good too, and I say that with respect for parents who do that, because it's a loving thing. Because society doesn't want.
I got you.
Society sometimes make it sound like they were a buster or whatever. I'm old.
I think the
That's
point
good.
in some
Yeah,
different
yeah,
words
that's
that you're
really
trying to say is, if you know you're unfit to be a parent,
Damn.
and the
Yeah.
better thing to do is to give the kid up for adoption so he can have a real shot and a foundation.
And that's
That-
love, though, bro. That is.
Yeah.
I mean, I can't imagine the hurt, that, my kids' biological parents experienced having to do this, right? Because I love these kids. Like, I would do anything for my sons, anything. I can't think of anything I wouldn't do. And so that was an act of love, right? At some point, because for whatever reason, and so sometimes I think we forget the biological parents. Sometimes they do this really loving thing that says I can't do this right now, and it isn't. And the thing I always want my kids to know about their biological parents isn't that your parents didn't love you. It's that they loved you so much they knew. Right? That this is, what I mean? Like, or maybe sometimes it doesn't go down like that.
No,
Sometimes, but
like,
anyway.
like, you know, I think like for people like, for me, like I'm not a dad, right? But,
Don't y'all have a dog?
yeah,
Y'all have a dog?
yeah.
We got a cat.
Your
We
dog
got
here,
cat,
yeah.
yeah. We got cat.
Yeah, that's right.
Hey, listen, I had a dog and he was basically my son, so I get it.
I used to have a dog back in New York back in the day.
Okay.
But we have two nephews, one 14 and one 16. And what I try to do, as best as I can, is to be a role model for them and to teach them, you know, things that I learned when I was their age, and to also teach them about, you know, the world, about entrepreneurship, about going to college. Like my 14-year-old nephew, all of a sudden he is like into Malcolm X, like all in. So I'm like, hey man, I gotta talk to you about that because I was into him when I was your age too. So you know, I really think like, you know, like you said, like being just having to make you a father. I also think that even though you don't have the title of fatherhood, you can still be a role model to somebody who is coming up.
Yeah, and you know, I talk a lot of junk, but in all seriousness, I'm smart enough to realize this. Whether I wanted to be a role model or not, when I started down the path I was going on, people were going to look at me, and people were going to look at how I am as a father, how I am as a man, how I treat women, how I carry myself. So people are watching, and people are paying attention.
Always.
And here's the thing about when you're doing right. When you're doing wrong, people are like, ooh, 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 ooh. But when you're doing right, you might do right for months and months and years and years, and nobody says nothing.
They would say Jack.
But people are watching, they're just not saying anything. But they see if you're being a good father. They see if you're on point doing what you're supposed to be
I
doing.
always say, learn how to clap for yourself so you won't need that.
Woo!
Yeah, that's true.
You know what
Come
I'm saying?
through, man.
Yeah.
That's what's up. That's
Yeah,
real.
you know, like that. You know, for those of you in the room that are, you know, 40, like me, you remember that song back in the day? Somebody.
Doug, stop scaring away our audience.
I'm not skipping what I was doing. But there was a song back in the day that went, I feel like somebody's always watching me. It's like somebody's
Feel
always
like
That's my
somebody
somebody.
Let's let the singer hit it. Hit it one time for us.
Always feel like somebody's watching me.
See, that's how we got to take sound on this stuff right there. See?
Yo, he just popped it like that.
He just then he had the hand going.
We got that live music and that soul in the house.
It was ready.
But no, it's true that somebody's always watching you.
Yeah.
Like
You
said,
better
somebody's
believe it.
always
You
watching
better
you,
believe
always.
it.
Yeah.
And it's crazy because it's very important for kids.
Yeah.
You wonder why
I know where you're going with it. Yeah.
these kids are acting the way they're acting right now. Shout out to all the artists, rap artists and whatever artists that are making legal money. And they don't do the things that they're actually rapping about, but understand what you're doing to this society.
Sorry.
There you go. There you go.
The crazy thing about it is some of these kids are not even coming from that type of family and want to be you.
They're just rapping.
And
about
you're not even living that life anymore.
Migos.
Yeah.
You left that life alone.
My bad, guys.
Yeah.
Just understand that like you make some of these cats are kind of on the run before they made it.
Yeah.
And now they made it and they left that alone because they understand, oh, I'm making legal money and I don't have to do that. I don't have to look over my shoulder anymore. But now you just painted a picture to these cats that it's okay. It's okay.
That's true.
Because they're making music about
And
sad
that's
music.
my, oh, watch this.
Never even seen
And now
that
the
before in
girl
their
is
life.
looking at, I don't want the good boy. I want that right there because that's what I see.
That's what you're here. And
it creates a cycle.
That's what I see on
Where you
TV.
can't get out of it, and you get stuck
Man.
on this merry-go-round of looking for that type of person, and then that person continues to treat you bad, and then you get stuck thinking that's all you deserve, and now you're stuck on this merry-go-round of that lifestyle, and you can't get off of it. Hatred is a learned behavior, so stop teaching it.
Absolutely.
Let me repeat that one more time, just in case y'all didn't catch that, because I slid that in there. Hatred is a learned behavior, so stop teaching it.
What's your sound effect?
Boom! There we go. So real quick, man, we're about to do a rapid fire session, but we talked about someone's always watching. Man, my youngest daughter right here, she's waving at me. Listen, she always watching. If I say one thing out loud, she's like, Dad, what are you doing? Why'd you post that? What you doing? I'm like, all right, you're right. So, shout out to my baby girl, Silver. We're going to do a real quick rapid fire, right? You know, we all talk a lot and stuff. We all got a little bit of wind to us. We've only got about 8 minutes left in the show. So I'm gonna shoot a question at you, give a quick answer real quick, and then we'll keep moving back and forth. Really quickly, Jay, when is that album of yours gonna drop, that solo album?
I don't have a date on it. It's coming soon. It will be before the summertime.
Before summer. So you know what that means? When them hits come in, you'll be playing them all summer long.
Yes, absolutely.
All right.
Ray, what made you decide to get into being a pastor, a preacher? Where did that initial thought and feeling come from to make that happen?
Yeah, I mean, I was 11 years old. And
Wow.
yeah, I know, right? 11 years old, that was, I don't know, we, in our faith tradition, we call it our call. It was something that, it's hard to really explain. I just knew. I mean, what I'm doing now isn't what I thought I was. I was more in the kind of name it and claim it, really
Rapping
Pentecostal type, hooping and stuff. But it's different. But yeah, it was just, I feel like it was
That feeling.
calling from the beginning.
Yeah.
Jay, if you had to give one piece of advice to a young aspiring artist out there that's trying to make it, that doesn't really know what way to go, what avenue, or how to get seen or heard, what advice would you give to them?
To seen or heard?
To get seen or heard, to get their stuff out there so they could, have a chance.
Well, back in the day when I was trying to get in this industry, there wasn't free social media. Boom.
We're gonna bring him back on the show.
Yeah, we do. We gotta bring back
But
the show.
the biggest thing that I always tell people, if you don't believe in yourself, then others people won't. The first way to show that you believe in yourself is to invest in yourself. That means pay for studio time, pay for a good record. If you can't write it and you can't write a hit, hire someone to write it. Get it mixed and mastered. Why do you want it mixed and mastered? Because you want your record to sound as great as the industry record on the radio. Spend some money on a photo shoot. Get a visual, meaning some, a video or something, and clean up your page. My daughter, at a young age, started on her acting career. She cleaned up her page and said, "Dad, I want everything on my page to look like an actor." I said, "So all right, now we need to start building up your content." So now, at the end of the day, if I go to your page, I don't have to see brother, I don't have to see mom or dad. I see, oh, this girl, I know she acts.
Yeah.
She does this.
That's what it is.
Yeah.
So if you take yourself seriously, other people will.
Yeah.
I mean, investing.
That's
and
important right
real
there.
estate, absolutely.
Yeah, that is.
What advice, Ray, would you give to a young man out there that is trying to walk a righteous path and live a healthy and good choice lifestyle on a personal level and a spiritual level, that feels that he's not part of the normal society because he's not falling in line with everyone else, but he's good inside and that's the way he wants to live his life? What advice would you give to that young man to tune out the noise on the outside and keep on that path he's on?
I think it's, I guess the thing I'd say is, in our faith church, we believe that every person has the image of God. It's this fancy way, it's called Imago Dei, that every single person has God's image on her, him, or them, right? So to know who you are, and to know that you were created with God's image, God's mastery, God's purpose and plan for you. And so is the person next to you. And people oftentimes will speak from their hurt. They will speak from their emptiness. So if people are trying to make you, a young person who I'm talking to, become who you're not, they're trying to fix what isn't fixed within them, projecting onto you. Be who you are. To yourself, it's important. It's important to know who you are. You're a person with the image of God, and it's important to know that nobody makes you. Right? You have to know who you are before you can be anybody else. That was the best piece of advice my oldest brother gave to me. Nobody can make you, right? Like, you have to know who you are.
Yeah.
And
boom.
I know who
I
I know who I am. So whether people say I'm this, that, and third, that's fine. You can say that, but
You know who you
I know
are.
who I am,
Yeah.
and so that's what the person needs to say.
That's tough.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
you just gave me a whole gospel song. I'm in love with the God in you.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. That's gonna be
Oh,
crazy.
hey,
Okay,
Ray,
that's
you bring the credits on
that's
that one.
gonna-
Yeah, that was bad.
Inspiration out the Raider King.
Yeah.
Mongo Day. You can name it in Mongo Day.
So check this out, man. Real quick, everyone that's listening to the show, I want to give a big special shout out to all the men out there that are good fathers, that don't take the stereotypical way to be a man in society today and do their own thing. Special shout out to all the men that are good fathers.
Mm-hmm.
Special shout out to all the men that have a special woman in their life and let that woman feel special and are good to that woman and treat that woman right. Special shout out to all those men out there that aren't scared to show their faith and who they really are and not worried about what other people in society wants them to be. Special shout out to all the men out there that carry themselves like men and aren't scared to compliment another man or give another man a hand or lift them up, and it's not about always being negative and putting someone else down. Y'all men keep being who y'all are. Keep doing the same thing. For you ladies out there that are doing the same thing, special shout out to y'all too. I didn't forget about y'all, but we got men in the house tonight, so I emphasize that a little bit more because I really respect the men that we have in the house tonight. Really quick, Jay, why don't you tell everybody one more time all the handles that they can find you on and how they can check out your music, your website, and all that stuff.
Check it out. You can find me on social media at JSTYLZ Music. That's at JSTYLZ Music or j-stylz.com.
All right, Ray, why don't
All
you
right.
tell them all them social media handles, website, church address, and everything, how they can find you.
So at Raymac 2009, it's on Instagram, Twitter, everything I think, or Raymac for Mec, FORMECK. Church website is www.stcumc.org, South Tryon Community United Methodist Church.org. That's how you can find me.
Yeah.
And,
Doug, real quick, man, we're about to run out of time. I want to ask you real quick, what was your biggest takeaway from tonight's show, man?
I would say humility.
Humility?
Humility. I think the men in this room are humble. They know where they come from, and they're striving for the best.
Man, and I would say that respect
Yeah.
too. And I appreciate you guys coming on. There's a lot of respect in this room, and I appreciate that. A lot of times, you got egos involved. You got, I'm this or I'm that, or I made this happen, or I did this, or I speak in front of. We're all men. We all put our pants on the same way.
Yeah.
And you never know. As quick as you rise, as quick as you fall. Hey, listen, man. There's a lot of respect in here. I appreciate the show. This is a great vibe, a great show. I appreciate both of you guys coming on. Doug, tell me your social media handles and how they can find you.
You can find me at DAWilson78 on Instagram. You can find me at Douglas Alexander Wilson on Facebook. Twitter is at Wilson Alexander, and my business website is www.alexanderwilsonconsulting.com.
BTBUfitness.com, TheLarryDawson.com. Train Your Brain, the new course that I developed along with Ron Devine. It's 36 chapters to help you get every single aspect of your life right. Check it out at LarryDawson.com or RonDevine.com. Check me out at Larry Dawson BTBU on YouTube and on Instagram. And check out Season 2 of Secret Sauce to Be the Boss coming your way this summer. All right, it's been another episode of the Boom Radio Show. I'm Larry Dawson, and until next time, we are out. Boom!
Peace out.
Boom.